Welcome to part 2 of this video showing you how to make these finger huggers. They are so easy to do, machine embroidery, and part 1 showed you how to do a monkey and a puppy, which is the same as the bear and the kitty. So those are really easy, but frog and elephant have some different techniques because the trunk is dimensional, and of course this little froggy mouth is an interesting thing to learn. So this video is really going to help you succeed with these two last little puppets. And you can download this pattern. It's very inexpensive. The pattern comes with all the puppets and instructions. So we'll start with the elephant. And I have hooped my 5x7 hoop with a single layer of the felt. Now, if you're conserving felt, you can use a water-soluble interfacing and then cut the felt large enough to cover your design and just spray adhesive on there, and it will work just fine. And I've done all the facial components, and of course they're going to be messy on the back. So I'm going to put a second layer of felt underneath without disturbing the hooping of the top, and stitch the whole exterior of this puppet. And so all of that stitching will be covered up on the back, and it looks so cool that way. Now, I've previously made this trunk, and you want to get these made before you take the puppet out of the hoop, and it's just done in a small hoop, the smallest hoop. And I put the needle on the corner of the trunk, and I'm just going to place it exactly, have that needle go exactly right to that point, and then I'll just hold it carefully and let it stitch across the top. And that's how I'm going to place that trunk and still have it be dimensional. Now I finished stitching, and when I get it out, I'm going to trim the top of the trunk. I left that long when I stitched it, and then I'll trim it, and it's going to just look great like this. You put the feet in, close the shoulder, just hand stitch it, and then overlap the back and whip stitch the back. And this little guy turns out so cute. Now I've done the first stage, which is these two markings that you can see there, the two little red crosses. And that's going to mark where my mouth is going to be placed. I've taken a scrap of fabric, folded under 1/2 inch, make sure it's big enough to cover the top part of the frog, and then I'm going to place that right on those markings, and I'm going to pin just right here on the outside so I know it won't, the pins will not interfere with the stitching. But I don't want it to move, and spray adhesive just doesn't do this thick folded fabric. And then I will stitch the next 2 stages, which is a white and a black, to do the eyes. Here I've done the stitches up and around the eyes, and I could at this point slip in the little tongue that was previously done on a small hoop with using red felt, and I can trim the top to whatever length I want, and I can slip it in there. It would be caught in the stitches, but I have found that the stitches are disrupted too much with the thickness of this tongue. So I'm going to wait till he's all finished, slip that tongue in, and just hand whip stitch that into place. Next, I'll do the top part of the face that just rounds around and will complete the top. Now I've cut a piece of felt large enough to cover the lower part, and I'll fold up over the top 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to butt it right up next to that upper lip fold. And I can pin it again way far away from where the machine will stitch, just to hold that. And then I'll stitch out the next step, which will be the whole body of the puppet. I need 2 layers of felt for stitching out the feet that will be stitched out here at the top. Now he's finished stitching, I'm going to cut him out, and I will leave a little bit of felt margin on the outside of these stitches, just to be careful that I don't snip the stitches, because there's really no way to repair them. You can hand whip stitch it and try to fix it. So the arms slide into these slits here that are like half buttonholes, and then you're going to sew them at the shoulder closed. And I like to tack the arms in place so you can't move them back and forth. And then you just fold over the back, and I blanket stitch the back. And then of course the tongue I slip in there at the length I want, and then just hand tack that down, and he just turns out darling. Super easy to do. Hope this video helped.